Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Step Up Your Studio, the podcast that is determined to help you with your continued success and give you that blueprint for your continued success. And today in the hot seat, very happy to have Marissa Powers. Now, we know Marissa now for about 4 years, maybe even five. It's going on. She's on faculty, currently up at the studio, but she resides in New York City and is doing some amazing things down there. She's taught for dance teams, she's choreographed for private studios. She recently did something with NYU, which is very exciting, choreographed for their theater department over there. So she's doing so many wonderful things. She also, you may know her from all of her success on both Instagram and TikTok at underscore Marissa Powers. And she has built an incredible following. Now it's over 100,000. So Marissa, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, thrilled to have you here. And so before we talk about where you're at now, let's go back. Let's go back and talk about where it all started up in Massachusetts. So tell us, how did you get involved in dance?
I have been dancing since I was 2. My mom signed me up for dance class in a small town in Massachusetts, and I think she had no idea that this would become my life. No one in my family was really a dancer or anything like that. My mom was a horseback rider. My dad is into sports, and I just immediately fell in love with it. I grew up a competition kid, and it became my life very quickly. And then by the time I went to college, I was actually going to college to become a school teacher. Not really. I love kids. Clearly, I work with them all the time now. But you're 17 and you go to college and you don't actually know what you're going to end up doing with your life. But
Oh,
I went to a school called Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut,
yeah.
and I was able to be involved with the dance company there and then also the theater program there, where I learned that dance could actually be a career. I feel like I didn't know that growing up in my small town in Massachusetts. And I was able to work with choreographers that we brought in through the city. I was able to choreograph some musicals for the theater program. And by the time I graduated, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for this because I'm going to regret it if I don't. And now the rest is kind of history.
And your parents were very supportive. I know we met your mom, lovely,
Yes.
lovely lady, and that's part of it. I know people, you said with me, I was going to college too, University of Tennessee at Martin, and dance was, I've danced growing up, but my plan was to pursue sports and get a degree in physical education. So life is throws all kinds of curves, but part of it is, right, that support system of having your family and saying, yeah, let's do it. So let's give a little love to your for your dance teacher. What's her name? What's the name of your teacher that you when at the studio you were at?
I went to a studio called Dancer's Image in Westfield, Massachusetts. And yeah, it was a lovely place to grow up and really find my love for dance. So shout out to
Yes,
them,
great.
and then shout out to Sacred Heart University theater and dance programs as well for
Yes, and
me.
that's how we got to meet Marissa, Simone DePaulo, who is the studio artistic director. Loved Marissa, said we need to get her involved in the studio, and things evolved from there. And she's been teaching and doing some amazing choreography for us over these years. But then you decided to make the move to the Big Apple, NYC. So
Yes.
how has that journey been? You guys now have been there for, is it 2 years about?
Yes, 2 years this summer. Yeah. It's been awesome. It's such a lifestyle change, and it's definitely an adjustment at first, but I absolutely love it. I love being in the heart of everything, being able to just take the train like 10 minutes to Broadway Dance Center, steps, and teach classes, connect with dancers. Obviously, seeing shows and being ingrained in this world is just it's so different than, although Connecticut is so close as well and was a great place to be,
Yeah.
it's so different being actually in it, and it's been amazing.
Now, if folks want to come and take classes, you're teaching at Ripley Greer, also at Black House, right?
Brick
Studio?
House.
Brick
So
House, yeah.
NYC
Yeah,
is,
Brick
yes,
House.
it's okay. Yes, I host a lot of open classes kind of whenever I have time because I travel so much. So if I like have a free week, I'm like, let me just rent a studio and see if anybody wants to come dance with me. And through building my following of dancers on social media, it's been really cool to see my classes grow as well in the city.
All right, so that lends us right into that next question, and obviously getting a social media following like you've built is special, takes a lot of hard work and dedication. So how did that kind of evolve?
It's so funny. I mean, I've always been a consumer of social media, especially growing up. I kind of grew up with Instagram. I remember it being launched when I was like in middle school, so exciting, but I never really understood that it could further my career so much. And I randomly, it's actually at Devalda in Sirico, I filmed this great moment about it was 2 or 3 years ago. Whenever year I did the Harry Styles themed tap
Yeah,
piece.
remember
I
remember it well.
I just thought it would be fun because I knew the girls were gonna be so excited that they were dancing to Harry Styles, they're teenage girls. So I thought it would be so fun to film the reaction when I played them their song for the first time. And I just filmed that moment and put it on my Instagram story. And at that time, I was just using Instagram as, like posting vacation pictures, fun nights out with the girls, nothing to do with my career. And I put on my Instagram story and it was just friends, but they were like, this is so awesome. Like, I love this. And something compelled me to put it on TikTok the next day. And I didn't really think about it. I just put it on TikTok right before actually a long night of teaching. And I got home, opened the app, and realized it had about like 30,000 views, which was
Oh
crazy
my God.
for me at the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, what? I didn't even know this was happening. I've been working all night. And my boyfriend, shout out to him, was like, you need to continue this. He has such a marketing brain. He has a business degree, multiple business degrees. And I didn't have that brain. I am happy to say I do now, but I was like, really? And from honestly that point on, I just said, okay, I'm going to continue posting every single day and see where this takes me. And I've been able to build from there.
So do you remember like how many followers you had 3 years ago when this started?
I think I had about 1,000 on TikTok, and that was from a silly video I made in college, actually, and never posted again about. I reenacted a dance from Dance Moms when I was in college because I was bored in COVID. So I had about 1,000 from that, and then yeah, I was able to slowly build from there. It's really interesting because when I first started posting as well as dance teachers and choreographers, I feel like a lot of us can relate that we're perfectionists about our work. So
Mhm.
I was hesitant to post so many things because they weren't finished products. I was like, I'm not going to post just a simple rehearsal video because it needs to be better first before I share it. And once I was able to kind of break that down and be okay with that and involve people in the entire process is when I really actually started to see it grow because people are so interested in how we create everything rather than just seeing the finished product.
Yeah, no, that 100%. I love that, and that's a great tip. So for studio owners and dance teachers out there who want to get their work exposed, want to kind of connect more, yeah, don't be afraid sometimes to pull the curtain back. People love to know what they don't know, right? And a lot
Yep.
of people don't know the creative process and what goes into it behind the scenes, and the ups, the downs, the changes, the tweaks, that the constant tweaking
Yes.
that we all like to do as we move forward. So now that you've grown this following, any tips that you can give? You just gave us one, but any additional tips as far as, possibly maybe the consistency of it, or what you find it has the most engagement out there? Because that's always part of it, right? At that engagement, who likes it, who'll share it, that's when things kind of explode.
Yeah, definitely. I think my biggest tip is pulling that curtain back, as you said, and staying consistent. That is the biggest thing I see. I think that a lot of people who are like, I want to try to do this social media thing will post a couple great videos and then they'll kind of forget about it. And I think that the biggest thing is staying absolutely consistent. I have rarely missed a day in the past couple years posting on TikTok specifically because you kind of, I mean, if you're a studio owner and you're wanting to do this for your studio, you do have a brand. But I am looking at myself as a choreographer on social media as a brand, and I want people to recognize me and I want people to see me constantly over and over. So maybe it's even annoying at some point, but they don't have a choice but to forget who I am and my work. So that consistency is the biggest thing where I see people fall off. You can't just post and then like forget about it for a month and then post again. And it does take a lot of hard work, but I will say, especially if you are a dance teacher, choreographer, studio, whatever it is, when I first started posting, had so many videos just in my camera roll that
Yeah.
are just great moments. You film your choreography, just if you're doing like a simple contemporary combo, you probably film a group at the end. If you are filming to remember a piece, maybe there's a great moment where they killed it and you can post just 5 seconds of that. You have so many things in your camera roll that you don't even realize are great moments to keep that consistency up, especially when you're first starting.
Do you find that video is the king, or still images can still create some nice engagement as well?
Yeah, I mean, I primarily create video, but I think that photos are also such an important thing as well, especially on those days where sometimes I'm like, I ran through all my videos, I don't have anything. There's on TikTok now, you can post photos and just the same way that you post on Instagram, and you can write something super engaging on the photo. Same with Instagram. It's still important to kind of have both of those mediums, but as far as just for me, what works, I primarily do video.
Now, as far as what program do you use to edit your videos? That's easy for folks, or do you just use the raw footage and put it up there?
It depends. I honestly, the way I edit the fastest nowadays is on the TikTok app, but I think that most people would actually not recommend doing that. Lately, I've transitioned to CapCut, which is honestly, it's the same format as TikTok, but that way, if you edit in CapCut, everything you do, you save the video, and then you don't have to worry about it saving with like the TikTok watermark. So then you can use it on Instagram, YouTube Shorts, Facebook, whatever else you want to post. And you also just have that video with nothing on it. So I would recommend people to use CapCut.
Yeah, so that you have a finished product of it, and it's not just on one platform
Yes.
with that finished product. No, I love that. And let's give some love to Andrew. So tell folks about what Andrew does, because he's done a lot of great work for Dance Teacher Web and Deval de Circo Dance and Music Center. So let's give him some props here.
Yeah, he is so smart with his marketing brain. He runs a marketing agency where he started off doing a lot of video marketing for restaurants and hospitality places like this. And since moving to New York, he's transitioned. He has so many musical theater clients where he films kind of similarly to the way that I film myself teaching. He films the behind the scenes of the rehearsal processes and gets really boots on the ground content for those musicals. And he also is a Broadway producer on 2 shows this season, which is super exciting. So
It
he wears
is.
a lot of hats as well. Yes.
So if folks want to connect with him, how do they do that?
He also actually recently started posting on TikTok too. So you can find him at Andrew Patino. He finally took his own advice that he's been giving to me for so long to build his own personal brand, and he's been doing great.
Yes. So give him one more time his name and spell it out just so they can hear it. So
It's Andrew Patino, AndrewPatino.
all right. Yes, and he does great work, and has been instrumental, obviously, in helping yourself and with Dance Teacher Web as well. So the creative process, you think, is just one of the most, it sounds like the most important thing is that consistency of it. Keep getting it out there and keep kind of getting the word. And do you find, is there a way to, especially for like studios where maybe they want to have it a little bit more fine tuned to their particular area? Is there a way to kind of ratchet it where you can specify where you maybe want to target more, or is it more of a shotgun approach with both Instagram and TikTok?
You mean like location wise?
Yeah, locations. Yeah.
I think that there are paid marketing and advertising things that you can do through Google that
Yeah.
you can say, like, I want it to push out to this audience first, as if you're a business and you want to make sure that if you're a studio in Minnesota, you're pushing to these counties and then it can build out that way. But honestly, I find that organic reach is the best reach. I
Okay.
personally for myself, but I can see studios being interested in that. So you can put money into making sure it's going to the people of your community. But I people in my community see my stuff and I don't worry about that.
Yeah. I mean, the key is you want to try to get as big of an audience as possible, because the bigger the audience, chances are people in your community or somebody's going to say, hey, I saw this dance studio, don't you live there, right? And people then share that information and get the word out that way as well.
Yeah, I guest teach a lot now. Most of my content is always at a different studio, which is awesome. And I always get a couple comments about, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're at the studio. Like I am so jealous. It's so close to me." So people will recognize the studio the more that you consistently post. Even again at the beginning of me posting, I was primarily only teaching at DeValda and Zirco, and people recognized the studio from my videos. And even some of the girls were like, these people just recognize me from your videos at Starbucks. So it was definitely reaching the community as well.
Yeah, no, people love that, right?
Yeah.
People absolutely love that. It's very, very cool. So speaking of very cool, Marissa's going to be at the conference this year. She's going to be doing social media at the event for us. But more importantly, what she's going to be doing for you if you come to the conference is a really cool concept that she presented to Angie and I about doing a class and then capturing that content and showing you how to use it on social media. So walk us through that class. It's very cool.
Yeah, so it'll be like a part 1, part 2 situation, and the part 1 will just be a normal class with me. I have a contemporary and a tap version of this class, so whatever your vibe is. But it'll just be a regular movement class with me because that is obviously my first love before social media, and I'll film it the way that I always film for social media. And I think the biggest thing I want people to take away is that anybody can do this. I think a lot of people see my videos and are like, that's so cool that she does that. I could never do that. And
Yeah.
it does take practice, but anyone can do it. All I do is put my phone up on a tripod and film the entire class of me teaching. And from that hour, I can create like 10 videos of moments of me teaching. So I'm going to do that with the part 1. And then if you come back for the part 2, I'll start off by giving you some tips, some best practices as you're editing, because there was a lot of trial and error for me. So any way that I can help you, things that you don't even think about, like when you're editing, cutting out like moments where I say the word like a lot, maybe cutting out a few of those likes and ums, maybe moments where you pause. We all have moments as teachers. Sometimes I forget the choreography and I need to take a moment, cutting that out, not to not show that. Sometimes I do show those moments, but to keep the content engaging. So just sharing some best practices in that world. And then second half of that part 2 will be us actually working through some of what I had just filmed in that class and editing a finished video so you can do it with me and I'll put it up and post with you guys.
Yeah, no, and that's so cool. So the attendees can use this. You'll share with them, and they can post it on their social media and get some great traction. And well, some of it just be little snippets. Some of it will be the full routine. You're going to dice it up. You'll have an hour to kind of show people. So, folks, this is a very cool and valuable concept. Going to give Marissa all the credit. She proposed it to us, and Angie and I are like, yeah, 100%. People are always interested in that, and I love what you said there. That I think a lot of people think, oh, I can't do that. I don't. But the number one thing is time, right? So it does take some time, but if you carve out a little bit of time and you're looking to increase your social media footprint, this is a fantastic way to do it. And this will be not just talking about it. This is going to be a hands-on, let's do it, let's work this, and this is it, and this is how you get from A to B. And the entire, not only will she be filming her session, but we're also then going to, on top of that, film the whole session. So for those of you that come to the conference and you want to review any of this content, how she puts it together, there'll be video showing the video of what she just did. So we're going to be videoing your video of it, so folks can kind of go back and revisit this. So this is going to be a tremendous thing, and it's going to be a great way for people to learn how to really, get that social media traction. And from somebody who's been in the journey and started off, you heard 1,000, now she has over 100,000, and this is just all organic. That is going to be a fantastic way for you to again build that footprint. So Talking about, continuing education, you've been to the conference before. As an educator, what are your thoughts as far as continuing education, continuing to grow, learn, whether it be social media or whether it be how to run your business or how to teach? That process really never ends, does it?
Yeah, definitely. I every time I go and attend just a drop-in class, living in the city, it's so easy for me to go take a class at Broadway Dance Center. I take away something as an educator. I took a class last week and we did a really great, simple jazz progression across the floor that I was like, I'm definitely going to go do this with my students. And sometimes that's all you need to stay inspired is like we all go through those ruts where we're feeling like, okay, I just choreographed like 15 competition routines in a week and I have nothing left to give. So taking inspiration from a simple dropping class is one of my favorite things to do. And obviously having a resource like Dance Teacher Web, you can leave the conference and all those classes with things that you can take notes on in those moments that will save you for years to come. So
Yeah,
it's super important to always be a student. I hope that I always am. And of course, also learning through doing. I feel like as far as social media goes, like looking at the progress I've made from when I first started posting to now, and the things that I understand that work for me are all from just practicing and being okay with failure. I think that's a big thing in teaching and choreographing, and as well as social media. In social media, it's putting yourself out there, and maybe no one's going to see your videos for a little bit. Maybe you're going to post a video and it gets 500 views and you're like, what? I thought it was such a good video. So it's being okay with that and putting the effort in to learn by doing something.
No, I'm so glad you said that because nobody hits a home run every time. I mean, you don't have 30,000 views for everything every time you put something out there. And some things are just going to catch fire, right? And it's so funny you said that because I know sometimes we'll do something and I think, oh my God, this is so fantastic. And I still love it, but doesn't necessarily get the traction that you want. So, no, I'm so glad you said that because people sometimes will do something and then they'll say, oh, this didn't work, I'm going to give up already.
I think that goes back to the consistency of it. Is it's hard to stay consistent when you don't see those results. Not everyone's journey is going to be like mine. Not everyone is going to post one video, get 30,000 views and then get that motivation. And I'm so grateful that happened because I'm not sure if I would have been so inspired to commit to it. But, that video gets 30,000 and then maybe the next 5 I post get 500 views. And you have to just keep staying consistent and trying new things. And eventually those moments will come for you.
No, I love that. Absolutely love it. So, Marissa, thanks so much for taking some time. We look forward to seeing you this summer. Now, we also are launching something new at Dance Teacher Web this summer, which is called our Dance Teacher Web Studio Hub. And we're going to be doing some interviews in there. You're going to see Marissa in there. She's going to be talking to other presenters and connecting with fellow attendees out there too, right? So we'll be grabbing attendees. Could be a very short snippet, and then she'll be sharing that content with you, and you can share that on your social media outlets. The idea of the Dance Teacher Web Studio Hub is to give an opportunity for not just our team there, but also for teachers and studio owners attending to also, again, have an opportunity to be showcased. And some of this stuff, it's not going to, a lot of it's not long, right? Do you find there's a certain time frame that's the best as far as the length of video, or it depends?
It really depends, and it depends on you and the kind of content that you create. It's like figuring out what works for you. I think that I've gotten in the groove of creating about minute-long content that works for me, but it's trial and error. I can't say it enough. Sometimes there's like 5 seconds that are great for you to post.
Yeah, 100%. But I love to see folks, come on, a minute content. Yeah, everybody's got a minute in them a day, right?
Yeah.
Stuff that they create. So Marissa, again, thanks so much for your time. We look forward to seeing you this summer. These 2 classes are going to be amazing. Congratulations on all of your success and continued success. And if folks want to connect with you personally, how do they do that?
You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at _Marissa Powers. And also my email is in my bio on both of those if you want to dance with me.
All right. Yeah. So connect with Marissa. If you bring her to your studio, you will not be disappointed, folks. She does a great job. So Marissa, we will see you this summer. Cannot wait. Everybody, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Step Up Your Studio. Thank you, Marissa.
Thank you, Steve.